Well, if we would have been the same score, and boy, we had a strong second or third quarter comeback, I wouldn't have been enthused. No, listen, the players you're going to watch come September and in the fall, that was in the first quarter. And the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe, were world champ. I'm not sugarcoating anything. If we'd have got our butt kicked like the Chiefs got beat in the first quarter, now you might say, well, it doesn't really matter. But all I know is those are players that you're familiar with, that both teams are counting on. And going, I think there's about a little over 13 and a half minutes left in the second quarter. So you want to talk about a great first quarter that you always dream about. You know, if you're a starter and you're trying to establish yourself as far as getting ready for the regular season. But if you look at what occurred then, we were winning. After Lutz kicked that 36-yard field goal, we're winning 17-0. And the time of possession was 11 minutes and 44 seconds to 4 minutes, 31 seconds. We end up having the ball when the game's all said and done, 6.5 more minutes than the Kansas City Chiefs. But at that time, we were dominating the world champs. We had 10 first downs to their 1, 173 yards to their 31 yards. Oh, yeah, but Bobby, how did they end up with more total yards than we did? And you know, like us, so you have to look at the whole game. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the guys that are going to help you win the games, majority of them, almost all of them, during the season. So, yeah, we outgained the world champs 173-31. That's not an opinion. That's what freaking happened. So, again, the Saints come away with a win at the end, but I didn't even care about that. I just know what we did at the beginning. And realistically, I'm more ecstatic that it doesn't count because it's not the regular season, that we're a +1. This is what I said. This is 2 hours before the kickoff. I said, and this goes along with Dennis Allen, what he said, that you can make good and bad habits. He said, and this is what I said 2 hours before kickoff, I think we are creatures of habit. So can we start +1 or +2 in the turnover margin when the contest is over today? Well, the contest is over, we +1. I'll tell you, all those little things matter. When can you be opportunistic, taking the football away, protecting and all that. And obviously that was not winning. Football last season, we were a -11, which is the second worst in the NFL and one of the worst in franchise history. I can tell you right now that if we keep on that plus side in the turnover margin, we go in the damn playoffs. Now, if all of a sudden that starts getting minus this, minus that, and then well, you can maybe still win. No, the odds aren't with you. Then you're not going to have success. The one thing, now we're going to go against the Chargers. I don't know. It doesn't count. How about if we can be +1 again? Oh, then you're +2 for the preseason. All of that you build upon players watching the film, they're gaining confidence, making plays. So when the Tennessee Titans come to town, it's kind of second nature. But these are numbers that you would want. If we can do this against the Titans, I guarantee you we'd win. Now, the Chiefs won looking at the whole game. The Chiefs averaged 4.8 yards a carry. Now you can look at quarterback runs and all that, but we need to do that. As the Saints team, we need to average 4.8. Well, you know who was close to that? The only one, I look at the running backs, is Alvin Kamara's at 4.7. And now as the Saints offense, we only average 3.3. Now, Coach Allen will say this. I always tell you this, 9 penalties or more. You know, and in the meetings they break down, well, that's a stupid penalty, or you got to be more disciplined. 9 penalties or more, 100 yards. You know, that could cost you a game. Well, we had 9 for 79. They had 7 for 61. Yeah, I can live with that 7 for 61. But that 9 total, even though you think it's not that much difference, but it is. I'm just talking about all through the years and the games, 9 penalties or more, around 100 yards. That's way too many. That could come back to bite you. And I'm sure Dennis Allen will make the team aware of that. A.T. Perry. I mean, all I know is when they throw you the ball, do you catch it? 6 targets, 6 catches, 70 yards, basically a 12-yard average, a touchdown, and a long gain of 29. Hey, be a gamer. You might have had the drops in OTAs and minicamp. You know, he's used to passing offense. At Wake Forest, they threw the ball everywhere. So he has the size. I always said, can he utilize his size? Because sometimes he plays smaller than he is. He's freaking 6'6", 205. Well, don't play like you 5'11". Use that height, and obviously you want to cross that line whenever you have a chance to score a touchdown. But good for A.T. Perry. Steve, you gave him a game ball. I think that was well worth you doing that and acknowledging him. I thought both Derek Carr and Jameis, they both were outstanding. Derek had a quarterback rating of 140.6. Jameis right at 122. Derek's 6 of 8, 70 yards. Jameis is 11 of 13 for 92 yards. But I always told you this is how Derek Carr, when he signed with the Saints and you have a press conference, and, the pressures are what you're going to do. What is Derek Carr going to do? So I tell you what, when he went to bed last night, he envisioned, you feel confident about where you're at right now, growing with your new teammates. He goes 12 plays, 80 yards, 5 minutes, 24 seconds, and we're up 7-0. Let me see, what did Pat Mahomes end up doing? Oh, yeah, so that they went 3 and out because Mahomes scrambled, you remember, for 5 yards. So it was like 4th and a half a yard, whatever, 4th and 1. They quick snap to the tight end. The Saints are ready for it. You got to give Pete Werner a lot of credit, how he closed the gap and shut that down. Yeah, Mahomes was pointing first down. That wasn't even close. We all knew from the get-go. So that was a big play because you look, the Saints capitalized on that. We're up 7-0. You look at the field position, and that's 6 minutes, 58 seconds left in that first quarter. Jameis Winston to A.T. Perry plus 14. Jameis Winston, A.T. Perry plus 29, touchdown. 4 plays, 48 yards. So all of a sudden, we're up 14-0. Now, I wanted to acknowledge a couple of, you look at young defensive players or who's being utilized and who's coming about. Is that, I don't know, you can, to me, I think, I don't know if they have room for you on the roster, but you keep making those type plays, they figure out how can they put you on the practice squad. I thought, for instance, Ryan Conley, thought he was very active, 4-year linebacker out of the University of Wisconsin. So he's a pro. He's going into his 4th year. He took advantage of the opportunity. 4 total tackles, which led the team. 2 unassisted. He had a pass defended. He had also a special teams tackle. That's how you catch the coach's attention. I think overall, Zach Bond was fighting. He's competing. He ended up with 3 total tackles. He had a sack. That's one thing that Dennis Allen has done. A lot of people don't realize, you want to win like our 4 against your 4, like without like doing stunts or bringing extra people. But the different blitzes, since Dennis Allen has been the head coach of the Saints, defensive coordinator, because he runs the defense, and what they've done in the meeting rooms, according to what the opposing opponent is how they're going to set their protection, they have been outstanding with their past blitzes, and the numbers have shown that Zach Bond sack was a dialed up rush. That wasn't just like, he just kicked the other guys behind. You know how you're trying to scheme him up in the twist stunt and all that. So Zach Bond coming up big with that sack. He had also a quarterback hurry, a tackle for a loss. So that's what needs to continue. Now another young guy, and you could get confused because I don't know who's 42, who's 43, who's 43, who's 42. Ty Summers is 42. Ryan Conley is 43. Also, Ty Summers, another veteran. He's going in his 5th year out of TCU. He had a sack. He had a quarterback hurry, a tackle for loss, and also a tackle on special teams. So those are guys that, I don't know. Andrew Dowell's out. Who's going to step up? They're going to push Zach Bond at that position. We all know who's the top linebackers. Come on, Double D, DeMario Davis, and Pete Werner. But I don't know, the first game we might have to go more with 3 linebackers to try and stop the Titans' run and, Derrick Henry, and then not necessarily have that 5th nickel. You know who's outstanding? He had a snot bubble hit. He knocked the crap out of that chief running back. How about Nephi Sewell? I think I like that gene pool, the Sewell boys. Just look at his brothers and everybody. Those are NFL players. But he ended up having, a tackle. But 2 special teams tackles. I'm telling you, you got to have somebody helping JT Gray getting those tackles. So that's one thing I look at also that, okay, how did they contributing on regular defense but what are you doing on special teams, and do you have numbers that can help your cause make the team?